Hello everybody, this is Patrick Gwendon here in Orlando, Florida for the Focus National Conference 2010. That's right, the Fellowship of Catholic University Students has a national conference every year, or every 2 years, and this year it's in Orlando, Florida. And today we're going to ask people about what they think about Catholics, because most people, they hear Catholics and they think the Pope, eating fish on Fridays, or people protesting in front of abortion clinics. Well, there's another side to the Catholics that people haven't seen before. So we're going to go around, ask people some questions, and see what the Catholics say. All right, well, we're here with our first person to tell us more about Catholics. So tell us, what do you know about Catholics?
Well, you're a Catholic when you actually talk to your Virgin Mother more than your own mother.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Excuse me, miss. May I compliment you on your shapeless brown jumper?
All right.
There are two nuns.
Okay.
Well, they're going to become nuns. And so they go up to the Mother Superior, and she says, all right, you know, you've gone through all your formation, and I want you to go out one night and just do whatever it is and get it all out. So the first nun comes back the next day, and she says to the Mother Superior, "Oh, Mother, I'm so sorry." And Mother Superior says, "Well, what'd you do?" "Well, I drank my night away and lost all my money." And she says, "Well, go drink an ounce of holy water, and you're forgiven." The next nun comes in giggling. And she says, "Well, what are you laughing about?" And she says, "Mother Superior, I peed in the holy water."
You know, I'm Irish. This is probably hard to believe, but they say that Jesus is Italian. Have you ever heard that?
I have never heard that, really.
Yeah, you know, they say he was Italian because he lived at home till he was 30. He had the same 12 friends his whole life, and his mom thought he was God.
Patrick, did you hear about the lady who came to the rectory and she let the pastor know that her dog died?
I have not heard about that. What happened?
She was really, really sad, distraught. And she asked the priest. The priest said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Father, I want to have a funeral for my dog." And the priest just went, "Ma'am, we can't do that. I don't know if we can." He says, "Father, this dog was with me for 20 years. It's like my child. I need to bury this dog. I need a funeral." He was telling her all kinds of excuses. Well, finally she says, "Well, Father, I really have a heavy heart. I was going to make a big donation for this funeral, maybe, $4,000 or $5,000. And the pastor said, "Well, you didn't tell me the dog was Catholic."
So, what do you call a bunch of nuns walking down the street?
I have no idea.
Roman Catholics.
What's been your experience with Catholics?
So I once heard a story about a nun who went into confession where she was asked her name, where she taught, and what grade she taught. So she made up her sins because she got so scared. She left the confessional, went into another confessional, said to the priest, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been 3 minutes since my last confession, and I made up my sins."
Wow, that's an interesting experience you got.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
There's a priest who had a long day at work, and he was going to go home from work, and he decided to drink a little wine on his way home. So he has a chalice or a glass of wine as he's driving home, and he gets pulled over by an officer, or a cop, excuse me. And the cop goes, or the officer goes, "Father, have you been drinking?" And the father was like, "No, sir, I'm not." And then the officer goes, "What's that?" And father goes, "Oh, it's just water." And then the officer goes, "Can I see that, Father?" And he hands it over, and then the officer goes, "Father, this is wine." And then the father goes, "Oh, he did it again."
Excuse me, miss. I believe you have one of my ribs.
I know about these three old ladies. I heard a story about three old ladies.
How long?
They were sitting around talking about, hey, whose son's the holiest? Like old ladies do, proud of their sons. So they were talking, and the first woman was like, "My son, he's bishop. And whenever he comes in the room, everyone goes, 'Your Excellency,' and they bow. They kiss his ring." And she's like, the other two are just like, "Oh my goodness, your son is so holy." And they take another sip of their tea. And then they continue on, and the second mother goes, "Well, my son, he's Pope, and whenever he comes in the room, everyone's like, 'Holy Father,' and they bow down to the ground and kiss his feet. And they're like, 'Oh my gosh, your son, he's so holy. I can't believe he's that holy.' Third one goes, 'Yeah, well, my son, he's a 500-pound priest. Whenever he comes in the room, everyone goes, 'Oh my God.'"
So, Catholics in a nutshell. What do you got? Okay, so they like to raise their hands. I see that. Interesting. And they really like oceans? That's amazing. They're made for more? From Focus Conference? Well, if you say so. Thank you very much.
But as far as like knowing Catholics or knowing about Catholics, I have a little T-shirt company that I started, and I was actually, when the Pope was elected, Benedict XVI was elected, I was actually there in the Vatican, so I got to actually see him walk out when they announced him. So it was really neat. So we made a T-shirt. On the front it says B16, and on the back it says, "I love my German Shepherd."
I couldn't help but notice your eyes are a beautiful scapular brown.
You got a good Catholic story?
Yeah, actually I have like a poem. So, roses are red, violets are bluish. If it wasn't for Jesus, we'd all be Jewish.
Let us know.
Yeah, there was a story of an old man and a young boy who were on a journey together, and they have a donkey. And as they're going along, the boy climbs on the back of the donkey because it's a long ride and a long walk. And so as they're going along, some people in the other direction come across them, and they're upset. They're like, "What does the boy do on the back of the donkey? This is an old man. He should be the one that's riding." And so the boy gets off, and the man gets on, and they're going a little bit further, and there's some people coming the other direction, and they're frustrated. Say, "Why is this grown man riding on the back of the donkey, making that young boy walk?" And so he gets off, and neither one of them get on, and they're walking along for a while with the donkey behind him, and some people come along the other direction, and they said, "Well, that's just wrong. It's a really long road, perfectly healthy donkey. Why doesn't somebody ride on the back?" So they think about it for a second, and they say, "Well, maybe we could both get on the back." Well, they're not making very good time because this donkey can barely carry him. Some people come along, and they say, "What? That's just wrong. Two people on one donkey. You're going to kill the donkey." So they don't know what to do. They've tried everything they can think of. The last thing they can think of is they pick up the donkey and start to carry it. Guy and the boy are carrying along, and they come across this bridge it's over this river, and as they're walking along, the boy loses his grip, and the donkey starts to slip out of his hands. Well, the old man can't hold on to the donkey all by himself, and so the donkey slips out of his hands too, and it falls over the side of the bridge and falls into the river, and the donkey drowns. And the moral of the story is, if you try to please everyone, you can kiss your ass goodbye.
Excuse me, miss. I believe you have one of my ribs.
One of your ribs? What am I supposed to say?
I couldn't help but notice your beautiful scapular...